Welcome to the Bobby Kudo Show, where we dive into the fascinating world of human experiences and excellence. With special guests, real-life anecdotes, and thought-provoking discussions. Get ready to unlock and tap into your absolute potential with your host, manifestation coach, Bobby Kudo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome episode 97 of the Bobby Kudo Show. I am in Studio B with the 42nd Mayor of Fall River, Massachusetts, your main man, William Flanagan. Welcome to the show, sir.
Honored to be here, excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. And when the opportunity came across my desk to be on the Bobby Kudo Show, I said, sign me up.
I love it.
I want to be here. Bobby Kudo, he's becoming the name in the community, and that's the place I want to be. Get me here.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I listen, I appreciate it. You know, and with all the guests that come on the show, I always do the research, right? To me, you know, we talked a little earlier before the show started, and we talked about, you know, what the premise of the show is. And for me, honestly, it's tapping into the journey, right? Who is William Flanagan, right? What does the journey look like for you from 1980 to here we are today, right? There is so much you have done in this life. You have taken a big bite of this apple, and I'm so elated to be able to share this with our citizens and my audience. You know, I say this, people don't really know people. Like we see personalities on Facebook, but in fact, do we really know who people are, right? We talked a little earlier, who's your neighbor, right? Do we actually know our neighbors? Well, the point of the show is I want to introduce you to your neighbor. I want to introduce my audience to William Flanagan, the actor, the politician, the lawyer, the enforcer, the man, the legend.
It's a crazy resume, huh?
It is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, very impressive, sir. Very impressive. You know, and I find it, you know, it's I love being from the city, man, right? And it's like, you know, sometimes I say to myself, am I representing the city, you know, the way I think I should? Because a lot of people say a lot of bad things about the city, right? You know, it's this, it's that, and then I'm saying to myself, no, I don't see that. You know, I see a collective of people. I see a melting pot of different races and colors and creeds that want to build something great. With that said, we're going to get into your journey right now, but something I really want to talk about, I was kind of bummed out, was this.
Sure.
The results of last night, and I really want to get your insight, and I just want to give you a compliment. So I think you did an amazing job last night. I felt like I was part of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, to know, you know, it's one thing to be like, hey, what's it look like? What's it look like? What's it look like? And to have you out there with Mike Silvia, Fall River reporter, reporting live, you did an amazing job, man. I think that's your calling. I think
I love it.
Right?
I love entertainment, and especially as a young child growing up, I loved theatrics and production, and we can talk a little bit about that later if you wish. But to go out last night, it's become a tradition for me. I don't get paid to do it. I volunteer to do it. I've done it with other media entities, but a Fall River reporter and I have been doing it over the last 2 or 3 elections, and we enjoy doing it together, Michael, Sylvia, and I.
Yeah. You guys get along? Are you guys friends?
Oh, yeah.
Professionally, I like Mike.
And
I do like Mike. Yeah, I do like Mike.
Great man.
Yeah.
Served our country.
Sure.
Honest. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Never,
smart guy.
Never done wrong by me at all, and that's how I judge people.
Yep.
So we went out last night, and it was only one ballot question, and that was the mayor's election, right? So you had Paul Coogan, who was the incumbent mayor, looking to get his 4th term. He's been elected 3 times already. Mayor Coogan, you know, former vice principal of Durfee High School. People know him as Mr. Cougs. And, you know, if you went to Durfee, chances are you met Paul Coogan. Or if your family went to Durfee, you know Paul Coogan.
Right.
Also, the Coogan family was a big Irish family growing up in the city. So a lot of people know the Coogans. They're a Fall River establishment, a pillar in the community. You had some other candidates running. Gabriel Boomer Amaral. Now, when I looked at Boomer, you know, I believe he's a single dad. His adopted children. He has some.
He's veteran. He's actually active. He's active. He's
experience in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But green when it comes to how to run a campaign in politics. But he seems that he's doing it for the right reasons. He kind of embodies, in my opinion, you know, the guy who's struggling out there looking for a voice in government. You had Christopher Silvia, who I really liked. I liked Christopher. You know, he owned Christopher's Cafe. He's part of the LGBTQ community. He was out there volunteering in the community.
He announced his suspension here on my show.
I know.
Crazy.
That was wild.
Crazy.
I was I wasn't say I was surprised by it, but I was surprised by it that he dropped out of the race. I think he had a chance to win if he stuck in it.
Sure.
You had Carlos Cesar, who is a community activist, well known in the Portuguese community, and he was out there doing the best campaign he was able to do.
Agreed.
And then you had a cat by the name of Michael Vandal, a little out there, strange, eclectic, talking about dentistry, but every right to run because he qualified to be on the ballot.
Sure.
So what happened last night, in my opinion, is about 6,000 people showed up to vote. And those are the 6,000 people who extremely care about Fall River. It could be apocalypse in Fall River, and they're still showing up to vote. Yep. Those people, in my opinion, like me, like you, have 100% voting records. Sure. They never missed an election. It could have been the presidential primary, the race for a school committee. It could have been snowing, raining. You're finding a way to get to the poll. So the people who voted yesterday, although it was a small margin,
7%.
Yeah, those are the people who are invested in Fall River. They can tell you, who's working at Hotley Pork Pies tonight, or they can give you the phone number to Scotty's Pub because they know it by heart, right? That's Fall River. Now, when I looked at the results, of those dedicated voters, 51% of them said the city was going in the wrong direction. Why do I say that? Because the mayor only got 49% of the vote. So you're the incumbent mayor. And the people who voted, although it was a small amount, these are the people who know Fall River. They know your mom, they know your dad, they know who your teachers were, they know when your birthday is, they know the city.
So it should sting a little more is what you're saying.
Oh, it should hurt. It should hurt.
That's a great perspective, Will. I didn't even think of that.
If you're a mayor, Paul Coogan, when you woke up this morning, you said, holy shit, the people who care about this city, the people who showed up to vote last night, who have voted in every election, I lost them somehow. How did I lose them? Because when you look at the vote totals, his vote totals are decreasing, right? So if the people who are highly invested in the city and knew it was election day yesterday, what happens when the guy or girl who's really not paying attention shows up in November? Odds are the mayor, Paul Coogan, is not going to get their votes, because if they're showing up in November now, they're probably not happy with the direction the city is going in. So if I had to predict the election without any variables changing at this moment, I think Paul Coogan still wins, maybe by 51, 52% of the vote. Very, very small margin. With that said, if something were to become unhinged, or one of the variables changed, or the Boomer campaign takes off like a rocket ship, he's your next mayor.
So real quick, just to kind of put this into perspective, when you ran, some of the highest totals, I'm looking at these numbers, 17,000. Now, on these turnouts, is it fair to compare like an actual mayoral vote to a primary? Like, do people tend to show up more for the actual mayoral vote than a primary?
Interesting question. Both. In 2009, in the preliminary, when I first ran for mayor, you had Mayor Bob Carrere, very highly respected man. He had he was the voice of the South End. He was the South End representative, 30 years up on Beacon Hill. He embodied government in the South End of the city. You had Kathy Ann Viveros, a very well-liked city councilor who was very popular during the 80s, and people knew her and her family, and she once ran for mayor.
Viveros' name was very popular at the time.
Very much so. You had a city councilor, a veteran by the name of Ray Haig, who was very popular on the council. And then you had me, a 29-year-old attorney.
The youngest at the time. The youngest at the time, yes.
Entering the race. So you had 4 or 5 established candidates with their camps and bases and money already. And then you had an upstart candidate who came into the race. So there was excitement. You had city councilors running in their race. You had school committee members running in their race. So there was excitement in the city. There was a function, a party, an event going on every day, every weekend. There was something to do. It was alive.
Did you go in knowing? Like, were you like prepared Because I know you went to college for this, right? And so, but you felt like you were prepared when you entered the ring, like to mingle with these people?
Yes.
Was it a lot of an adjustment for you, or you were like, oh, I figured this out. I can.
Full of confidence.
I love that.
Yeah, I went in there full of confidence because I knew I could do the job.
Well, because the reason I asked the question is because you could see it.
Yeah.
Because obviously people saw it too. Because they
Yes.
showed up and they voted for you. And then when you look at these numbers and compare them to other times, you're talking about a 5,000 vote swing. So there were 5,000 people that showed up for you that haven't shown up in previous years. So
Right.
what is that? And we were talking about it. Cliff Ponte and I, we were talking about that. And how do you stimulate? He said the trash bags. He's like, you don't realize the importance and the impact of purple trash bags.
Right. It was a weird time in the city. So you go to 2009, where in the last 20 years, I am the only candidate in the city's history to get over 10,000 votes. So over 10,000 people took time out of their day to go vote for me. That's never happened before.
Right.
No other candidate has cracked above 10,000 votes in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Fast forward 4 or 5 years later, I'm in a political battle because I introduced a pay-as-you-throw program. And the electorate was finicky. They were not, it was not a program that they wanted. And we saw it in the ballot box. But there were other issues going on at that time, too. A lot of peripheral issues that I think when they all came together, it came to become a perfect storm for me.
Yeah, right.
But even though I lost that election, I still finished in second place. The person who beat me was the former district attorney, Sam Sutter. He only beat me by, I think, 1,500 votes. So we were within
and he was a
striking
one-term.
distance.
He was a one-term.
9 months.
Yeah.
He wasn't there for very long, unfortunately. He didn't get to get his initiative started. He ran again recently against Mayor Paul Coogan, and Mayor Coogan beat him. But it goes to show you, I guess, how finicky electorates can be. And right now, I think people are really watching their pocketbooks more now than ever and their wallets because money's so tight. And when money becomes so tight, people get concerned on how you're spending their money and are you getting the most bang for your buck.
Sure. So when I see you and you're a polarizing individual, right? And then I see like Jason, and I'm like, he's another polarizing individual. And when you compare the two, like his votes, do you think people are attracted to the personality, right? Because I mean, obviously, the points matter. No more taxes. Like all of that matters. But to me, that's the normal. We all know that's going to happen. Is it the person? Is it the human? Is it the, hey, I like that Will. He seems like a trustworthy guy. I'm going to vote for him because I think he's got my best interest in mind, right? How do you make that flip? Because I think these candidates now, we're actually helping them. We're giving them some information. Like, this is what you need to know to be liked, to be accepted, to be the person that people are going to look to be like, hey, help me out, man. This shit sucks right now. Like, help me out.
Flip it back to you in your life.
Yep.
And the more simpler you make things, the easier they are to understand, right? Keep it simple. When you go and you want to pick a doctor you relate to, right? I relate to this doctor. I looked at their education. I like their bedside manners. I relate to them. They're going to be an advocate for me. I really feel comfortable with this doctor.
Trust, right?
Trust, honesty, a bond. You're looking to meet a boyfriend or a girlfriend. We have a lot of things in common. We like sports. We like music. We laugh. We gel nicely together. I enjoy being with him or her. So when it comes,
they make me feel good. They make me feel good.
They make me feel good, right? So when it comes to voting, more likely than not, you're going to vote with the person you identify with. So if you identify with Will Flanagan, you're going to vote for him. There are, I think, certain circumstances where, I can't stand his opponent, so I'm just going to vote for him anyway. But I think the vast majority of voters, if you can identify with them or they can identify with you, you're going to earn their vote. And the art of campaigning, there's an art form to it, but it's a simple art form. You got to go out and meet people. When I first ran in 2009, I think I knocked on over 15,000 doors. Shoe leather, burning out sneakers. I literally went through 2 or 3 pairs of sneakers during the election, holes in the shoes. So that's how many doors we knocked on.
Oh, wow.
Meeting people, knocking on the door. Hi, I'm Will Flanagan. I'm running for mayor of Fall
Now
River.
you're not just a name on a piece of paper. You're a face. You're somebody.
Face. And now they get a chance to ask you questions. How do you feel about the stormwater fee? Or this pothole in front of my house hasn't been fixed in over a year. Or I called the mayor's office and I didn't get a return phone call. Access is important. Being able to relate to people is important. So if that's what you want to do, be in government service, be in public service, you got to be a public servant. You got to be accessible. People need to relate to you. They need to identify with you. And if they feel that you have their back, you're going to get their support. You're going to get their vote. And one of the comments I gave recently to, I think it was the local newspaper, they said, what is it like being a mayor? And I summed it up, I think, the best way I could. How? It's like being a parent. And the city's your child. You got to keep the city safe, healthy, fed. You want the city to have a prosperous future even when you're gone. And as a father, you and I know, you would always make a decision in the best interest of your child.
100%.
If it was my life or my child's life, that's an easy decision.
Well said, Mayor.
Right?
Well said.
So you got to be able to put the city before you. Now, with that said, on a personal life, it can become challenging because they want you at graduations and ceremonies and ribbon cuttings.
How do you pick and choose, right?
Right. Bar mitzvahs. I went to everything, even an opening of an envelope I would appear at. Yeah. So there was no event I never went to. We were literally going 7 days a week.
Wow. No
days off. I can't even remember a vacation that I took as mayor. But I was 29 at the time. I had the energy. I had the ability to do it. Yeah. There was nothing else that would interfere with you giving 110% to the job.
Would you say it's fair that people vote emotion?
Yes, a lot of it's emotion. A lot of it is, yeah.
Right. Because Coca-Cola, they don't sell soda.
They sell a story, right?
Right. They sell emotion. People buy a feeling. You know what I mean? And I think this is a lot like that. It's being able to relate to someone and be like, well, I relate more with this individual than this individual. And I think the next step to that is, in most cases, people will be like, it's bad enough. It's bad enough. Now I'm going to go and vote at the primaries because it's bad enough. And so the question is it bad enough, Will? Is it bad enough?
A lot of people are going to say yes.
You know,
I think it depends who you are and what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah.
The majority of people, it's bad enough. The majority of people who I see are living paycheck to paycheck. And they're struggling to find change at the beginning of the month, and they're struggling to find change at the end of the month. They're having to make the decisions. Do I buy food or do I buy medicine? Can I buy a hamburger at McDonald's or do I got to eat ramen noodle today? Not many people living in Fall River right now have a lot of disposable income. They're not taking those big family trips to Disney World. They're not buying the brand new automobiles. They're probably buying something 3, 4, 5 years old, a fixer-upper. How many people are actually buying brand new homes right now or trying to find a way to save a little on their rent?
Right.
So for the majority of people living in Fall River, it's hard times for them right now. But there's also something else happening in the community. People are moving into Fall River. And they're moving into Fall River from communities where the cost of living has gone up too much for them. I'm going to give you an example, Brockton. The cost of living in Brockton right now is higher than the cost of living in Fall River. In Brockton, you can take the T to Boston. You can go work and come back. It's about maybe a 30-minute ride from Brockton to Boston on the T. But the rents in Brockton are much higher than the rents in Fall River. So families are coming together right now, and they're having discussions around the dinner table and saying, look, it's getting expensive to live in Brockton right now. But if we go 30, 40 miles south to Fall River, Massachusetts, we can save another $2,000 a month in rent and other fees and costs.
Sure.
Whole family packs up, and they move here. But what happens is when they do that, they now displaced somebody who was here their entire life who can no longer afford to live here. Because if I'm a landlord and I'm charging you rent and you've been a great tenant and you're paying $1,500 a month, But I got this new family coming in saying, gee, I love this apartment. 15, I'll give you $2,000 a month.
Right.
It becomes a business decision at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So people like my mom, your mom, people who are born and raised here, the disabled, the elderly, those who are living on fixed incomes, I am very worried about, because Fall River may become a place, or is becoming a place, that they can no longer afford to live. And where do they go, Bobby?
Right. Agreed. And so to piggyback off that, obviously we have seen a humongous increase in apartment building in the city.
Right.
Like, I mean, you go over to Sabre, there's 52 units going in over there, and then right across is another unit going up. And so the question is this: I'm to piggyback off what you're saying. Granted, so now we build all these apartments. We have 52 units. These apartments become unaffordable to the common Fall River, native. Someone who is a resident cannot afford this apartment. So to your point, they're bringing people in from Brockton and from all these other places. I've even heard Newton Wellesley too, just for the record.
It's happening.
Yeah, and so we're bringing more populace in, but are we literally just pushing our residents out? Right, because more and more people are living together, right? They're doing hey, I'll buy a 3-family, you live on the second floor, you live on the third floor, I'll live on the first floor, and we'll split the cost of living here. Without that process, I think people don't have a choice, right? Like, you're almost pushing them out the door.
It's almost bringing me to tears to see what's happening to the people who I grew up with, the people who my brothers grew up with, my mom's elderly friends, people who were born and raised here. They contributed to the fabric of our community.
100%.
They worked in Quaker, they worked in Duro, they were lunch ladies, they were police officers, they were firefighters.
Bro, we were an economic engine. This city was firing on all cylinders.
Backbone.
Quaker Fabric, Joan Fabrics, Duro, like these juggernauts. You know what I mean? They're just that were
Place to be.
Right. It
Place to
was
be.
a great place to be. It was a great place to be.
And now they're at a point in their life where they're older, their bodies aren't working like they did at one time, they're sickly, they're living on fixed income, $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month. Medicaid gets cut, Medicare gets cut, heating assistance gets cut, fuel assistance gets cut, and then you get the knock at the door. The landlord's there. Mrs. Jones, thank you for everything, but I'm going to have to give you a notice to quit today. I got some people who are willing to take the apartment.
Will, how do we stop it? How do we at least, maybe we don't stop it. How do we make it work for everybody?
Proper planning.
Right? There has to be a balance, right?
Proper planning.
There has to be a balance.
Proper planning. Proper planning. This isn't new.
Yeah. Would you be willing to be involved in that? If they reached out to you and said, hey, Will, because I know you've been involved in a lot of planning. You've done my goodness, you've been involved in a lot of things, and you've had amazing ideas. Why not get involved in that 79 project? Why
Love
not?
to.
You know what I mean?
Love to.
Right?
Yeah, and do a good job with it too.
100%, man.
And I can talk a little bit about the 79 project because that project was dead before I came into office. And so it's proper planning. Look, you can have a place for new development like the Seaport in Boston. You can have areas in Fall River that are dedicated to areas where rent's not going to increase dramatically. There are programs and incentives you can unroll and roll out to help property owners not have to have those high increases in rents. The tools are there. You just need to build the team to go out there and implement them and do it right.
One shot.
Hard work. You got to work, right?
One shot at this.
None of this is not going to happen by accident.
Right.
It's not you got to buy a scratch off and win $1 million by accident. This is hard work, proper planning.
Yep.
So it can happen. And it's not happening because it doesn't feel at this moment we have the team in place. I don't feel there's a lot of good communication going on. I'll bring it back to sports for a moment. The team that plays the best is the team that communicates. The coach talks to the quarterback talks to the O-line, the receivers, the running back, the defensive coordinator talks to the defense, the coordinators meet. The more communication you have, the better you're going to do. When you stop talking, that's when the breakdowns happen. Think about your own family. When you're not talking to your partner anymore, things start to go bad.
Absolutely.
When you're not talking to your children anymore, things start to go bad.
Yes.
If you're not talking to your mom or your dad, you're losing that contact in your love. Even at work, if you're not talking to your coworkers or your boss, things can fall apart. You need conversation. You need discussion. You need forums. You need people talking. I don't feel the conversations are taking place right now. So to prevent it from happening, you've already had to stop planning, and you're probably going to have to implement your plan faster because you're falling behind the 8 ball. You talk about 79. In 2009, when I was elected mayor, I was sworn, brought into office in 2010. Fall River's waterfront was dead. There was no new construction happening on that waterfront. I made an appointment to go speak to Governor Deval Patrick. I went with local leaders to go speak with the Department of Highway, MassDOT. We had a meeting in Boston. We advocated for a number of things. First, we wanted to bring down the spaghetti ramps of Route 79. If you remember those ramps that were on 79, they were falling apart. They were rusted.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was phase 1. Give us the money to get that down, and we'll show you where to do it correctly. I earned their trust. We got the money. Phase 2, we're now going to see the lowering and decompression of 79, and that was taking place. We were also finishing the construction of the Veterans Memorial Bridge, the old Brightman Street Bridge. We got that project on the wraps. And I was able to convince them that, look, if and when South Coast Rail is able to come to Fall River, you're going to allow us to decompress the remaining parts of Route 79 so we can have, for the first time in Fall River in a long time, new buildable land along the waterfront. It was a vision. And then I had the smarts to work with my city council to implement a waterfront district improvement plan that was going to cut any red tape along the waterfront, where you almost had a right to build if you were going to invest on the waterfront. Because one of the things I would hear from developers and contractors is, I don't like the unknown. If I'm going to build a project, or if I'm going to invest in your community, I don't want to be caught in zoning court or housing court or land court, or have to worry about how many
earthworms are in the general area. Gotcha.
Because that $100 million that I was going to put there, I'm losing money on. I'm going to put it elsewhere for a sure bet.
Yep.
You got to erase the unknown. You got to erase doubt. You got to make things quick and efficient. Efficiency is so important. Yeah. You can't waste people's time. Remember this. If you learn anything or remember anything about today's show, time kills all deals. Time kills all deals. The longer you take to get something done, the higher the probability it's not going to get done.
I say procrastination is the devastation of success.
Horrible.
Right?
Gotta get something done, get it done
100%,
quickly.
man. 100%. I love that.
So we put the plan in place, and here we are now, 15, 20 years later, we're seeing the fruits of our labor. If we do not get this done correctly, it will be an albatross around Fall River's neck for generations to come.
So let me ask you, when you say incorrectly, what vision is that incorrect vision?
Well, I'll tell you what I think the correct vision is. A community on our waterfront that resembles anything that's going to act as a magnet for people to come here. What do we need? We need arts. We need entertainment. We need restaurants. We need shops. We need apartments. We need life. Well, if you knew nothing about Fall River, what would it take for you to come here? Like, if I said, let's come to Fall River.
Very fair question.
Give me 3 things. What 3 things would you want to see in Fall River that would say, I'll come here for that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I was going to come, I'd be like, well, I'd like to see the battleship, and I'd like to maybe go to the museum. I'd go to the Marine Museum. Check it out. Right. So that would be pretty, maybe get a bite to eat at one of my restaurants. I'd find a restaurant, like maybe a Portuguese restaurant, because Portuguese cuisine is very popular here. And then I would go home.
Right. So we want more museums, right? People want to go to a museum. Bring more museums in. Yep. People want more restaurants.
Yes.
Bring more restaurants
Music
venues.
Yes.
And here's where it becomes important, right? In my life,
I love these ideas. That's what you know, Will. I'm with you on this.
Yeah,
I'm on this ride with you,
fun,
bro.
right?
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Carlos had a lot of great ideas too.
100%. In my life, I've met a lot of people. Vegas, New York, Florida, Texas, California.
You're doing movies with Gronk, man. You know what I mean?
Yes. Pick up a phone and say, to the owner of a franchise, we would love to have you in Fall River. Come check us out. Pick up the phone to some of the big nightclub people. We would love to have a venue in Fall River. Hey, I really need you to do me a favor. I know you're looking to invest some money. What about coming and putting a strip mall here in the city? You got to network. Networking is so, so important. A lot of the places I've been able to go and a lot of the people who I've been able to meet has been through networking, meeting people. You never know who you meet. Even at a restaurant, I'll strike up a conversation with somebody. Hey, how are you? What do you do? Next thing you know, I'm sitting next to the CEO of this big company, and now we're exchanging numbers, and I got a friend for life.
That's what it's
somebody
all
I can call
about.
upon
That's
if
what
I
it's all
need
about.
something,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
So you got to meet people. You got to be an advocate, and you got to sell people on the city because it's not going to happen on its own.
And so much has changed, right? Since you were here, you were the mayor, and then all of this momentum, and people are like, well, let's charge the city up, right? How can we generate more tax revenue? And then they say, well, let's legalize marijuana. Let's bring marijuana here. So you have a piece of that, right? And you got involved in that. And I will tell you, I'd like to talk about this a little bit, just shifting a little bit, because one, I have some criticisms, and two, I'd love to get your opinion on my criticisms, right? So, every now and again, I'll go into, let's just say New Leaf, for example. I find that this is no hate to Pete. I love Pete. I find that it's an awkward experience.
Okay.
Right? I find that purchasing marijuana, to me, is an awkward experience. There's so much variety. I almost say, this is my example. You ever been to Bass Pro Shops?
Yeah.
Okay. I went to Bass Pro Shops one day, and I knew the exact lure I wanted to buy. And then I got into the aisle, and I saw 10,000 different variations of that one lure, and I couldn't make up my mind anymore. So here we are, the marijuana industry, right? I'm in the store going, what do I want? Like, none of this makes any sense to me. And it always seems like it's an awkward kind of experience.
Right.
You get that sense?
I've eliminated the awkwardness.
All right.
I'll tell you why and how. A lot of what you said, 100% on board with you. So when you walk into Cosmopolitan on Hartwell Street, there's no computers, there's no iPads. It's a personal experience.
What's the address over there? Just so
82 Hartwell.
Okay, great.
Right near the bus station downtown. It's a personal experience. So you walk in, and let's say it's your first time in a dispensary. You got to be greeted by a bud tender. No computer, no iPad. A bud tender's got to greet you.
Yeah.
And the bud tender's going to have a pretty good basic knowledge of the menu, the strains, the effects, and what you're looking for. And that's really the goal. Hi, Bobby. Welcome to Cosmopolitan. Great to have you here. Do you know what you're looking for today? No, it's my first time. Well, what brings you in? Well, I'm having trouble sleeping at night. All right. Have you ever tried cannabis before? No. I talked to my doctor, and she said to come give it a try. Well, we got some options we can help you with. Do you like to smoke? Do you like a gummy? Would you like maybe a tincture? What do you think you're looking for? Gee, I don't know, but a gummy sounds nice. Okay, we got gummies. Do you have a flavor you like? Oh, I like cherry. Well, we got cherry gummies. And we got cherry gummies designed to help you sleep. Would you like to look at those? That would be great. And then you go over the effects, how they were made, where they were made. Again, information, right? Talking
but
to
is this
people.
day one for you, though? Was this the day you opened the doors, this is what we're going to do? Or was this an evolution for you to be like, because this has never been done before? Like, you're literally one of the founding fathers of marijuana dispensary legally. So, like, how do you know that, right? Because, you could have the best product. Marijuana sells itself. You don't have to sell it. But how do you know to give people a good experience? Because you don't have to realize that.
Common sense.
Right?
Common sense.
You would think.
If I go to a restaurant, I want a good experience. If I go to even McDonald's, I want a good experience. Nothing bothers me more than going out with the family, spending a lot of money somewhere, and getting treated like a donkey.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Or getting a cold shoulder. Not too long ago, I was at Starbucks, and my vision isn't as good as it used to be. and I'm struggling a little bit to see the menu. And it was not busy in there, but the barista gave me one of these, like, come on, speed it up, speed it up. And she's being rude to me. And I let her know, that's not how you treat a customer.
Right.
I'm coming here to make a purchase of a drink. I'm obviously having difficulty seeing the menu. Why wouldn't you be kind to me and help me and say, can you see? Can I help you?
Yeah.
Can I go over it?
Something you're interested in? Yeah.
It was like I was an intrusion on her. And that bothers me where sometimes employees feel like you're an intrusion, but without me, you wouldn't have a salary.
Agreed.
Or
But nobody thinks that way.
you have to. You have to see it from that end. So you got to really make sure that customer service is on point, and that's what we do at Cosmo. And whenever we lag on customer service, it really bothers me because sometimes the products are the same. The pricing's starting to get to the same now because people are lowering their pricing based upon what we've done. One thing that separates us is customer service. I drill into our staff. You got to treat people like family.
So how did you know you wanted to do this, man? How does this all come together? Like, it's such a, well, you know what? I think we've all had dreams, right? Hey, listen, if I could do this, I'll do it. But you actually did it.
Yeah.
And you see that there's value in this, right? Because you know what? I believe that marijuana and cannabis, let's just say cannabis, gets a bad rap. And I think the boomers hated cannabis. If you were at Woodstock, cannabis was just as bad as LSD, right? But then you had generational change as time goes on. We see that there's medicinal purposes and that it can bring you peace. I struggle with immense ADHD and obsessive compulsive disorder, man. I am super obsessive about things. Like, I don't know if you can tell, things need to be a specific certain way all the time. So for me, I find peace, brother. I find peace when, and so I have to be very particular about what I ingest, right? Because certain things will make me very, very hyper. I just need the things that calm me down just a little bit.
A nice indica.
Yeah, and you know what? It gives me quality of life, bro. You know what I mean? So for somebody like me, I want you to know, like, I appreciate this on another level. It's not about, being out behind a dumpster, getting high and It's literally about finding some common peace in my head. You know
that's
what I mean?
how I view it, as medicine. Cosmopolitan's open 7 days a week. I do not close on Christmas. I do not close on New Year's Day. And that's not out of greed. That's because I know there are people who are waking up on Christmas saying, I need my cannabis. I need to get it. Or if my life's not going to be good today. It's medicine for people. I would never want anybody not to go without their medicine or not have access to it. So we make it as easy as possible for those to get who need to get it.
So, Will, was that it for you? Was that the push for you to get into this?
I'll take you to it. If you got some
time,
of
course.
I think it's an interesting story. So I'm no longer mayor, and I make the decision to go back to practicing law because I'm an attorney. I got my law license, and sitting at my desk.
Assistant DA too.
Former prosecutor. I'm sitting at my desk, and I got a stack of files on my desk, and I'm getting through them. And I say, I'm going to put my phone aside. I'm not going to take any calls. I really need to get these files done. But I get a phone call, and it's from Denver, Colorado. And I said, I don't know anybody from Denver, Colorado. That's awfully strange. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to break my rule. I'm going to pick up the phone. And the person on the phone was...
The universe was calling, brother.
It was. The CEO of Canacare Docs, a Mr. Kevin Kafka, who I had no idea who he was at the time. And he said, can I speak to Attorney Flanagan, please? I said, speaking. He said, well, Mr. Flanagan, I don't want to take much of your time up, but I am currently in the area. I'm going to be leaving tonight, and I would really like to meet with you for 10, 15 minutes to discuss Canacare Docs opening up a facility in Fall River, Massachusetts. I said, well, I'm not the mayor anymore, and maybe you don't know that, but I don't know if I'm the guy you're looking for right now. He goes, no, you're the guy. He said, I'm calling you specifically, and I really think you can help me. I would like to meet with you before I get on my plane and leave. I said, well, where are you? He goes, Seekonk, Massachusetts. I said, I'm on my way. So hopped in the car, drove to Seekonk. Before we left that meeting, he put in my hand an offer to be the representative to open the Fall River Canacare Docs. Wow. And to this day, that store that I opened for him was the biggest opening in Canacare Docs history. Wow. blew the organization up to the point where they actually ended up selling it 4 or 5 years later, and they made a huge profit on it. But now I'm starting to work in the cannabis field. I'm networking, I'm meeting people, and I'm starting to talk about it on social media. Again, a phone call from a former law school classmate of mine, Brian Rudin, who, unbeknownst to me, is the CEO of Starbuds, not Starbucks, but Starbuds, a big dispensary in Colorado. And he says, "Hey, Will, I'm following you online. What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What's all this cannabis stuff you're posting about lately?" Yeah. I said, "Well, Brian, you'll never believe it, but I'm starting to work in the cannabis field now." Chuckles. "I'm going to have a plane ticket for you tomorrow. Come see what I'm doing."
Come on. Dude, so cool.
Hop on the plane, out to Denver. Picks me up at the airport. Eye-opening. It was like Marty McFly getting in the DeLorean and going into the future, because none of this was legal in Massachusetts yet. Right. So for the first time, I'm walking in dispensaries and I'm seeing cannabis and oils and hash, and it blew my mind. And I was able to see the future of what it could be in
the industry.
River.
This is an industry.
I saw the industry. Yes, I saw it. It was happening in real time for me. It was like a dream taking place in reality.
You were right where you were supposed to be, brother.
Of course. And then one thing led to another, and here I am today. So I went from being a consultant, an advocate, an attorney in the field to now owning my own stores.
Wow. And so really some of the challenges of getting even a license for something like that, right? Because it's never been done before. And they offered what? At the beginning was 4? Was it 4?
3.
3. Did you get one of those 3?
Yes.
That's amazing. And then to be, again, like the founding fathers of this, you guys set the precedent, right? And everything that came after that, here it is.
Yes.
So there's a couple of other cannabis, dispensaries in the city. I think everybody's successful, right? And I think it comes down to more so preference and I think customer service, bro, right?
100%.
Because marijuana is marijuana.
Yeah.
Right? There's different brands and there's different THC levels, but I think the experience is what really matters most to people. It has to be. It has to be.
The experience matters. And, maybe one day I want to try grape and you have blueberry. Yeah. So I'm going to go where the grape is. Or maybe tomorrow you have orange and I have apple. So I'm going to go where the apple is. So people will move based upon the strains. But most importantly, they want to go, like we said, where they feel comfortable. Yeah. You want to vote with who you feel comfortable with. You want a doctor with who you feel comfortable with. Who you trust.
Absolutely.
Right. People
go to the same gym every day because they're comfortable at their gym. They're comfortable with the people there and the people around them.
And they know they're not getting screwed.
100%. 100%. So this one, are there any future plans for maybe Cosmo 2? Or?
Well, I opened up a second store called Green City in Attleboro. So that's doing really well.
All right. I don't think people know that.
They probably don't.
Yeah. Is that as large as Cosmo or?
Getting there.
Yeah.
Cosmo's been open for 3 years now. Green City's been open for 1. So it's growing. It's slowly growing, which is doing what it's supposed to do. And now I'm probably going back to Rhode Island. I actually had a grow in Rhode Island at one time. It was called Eden of Rhode Island. It was a small micro grow, one of my first projects I ever did. The state of Rhode Island is reopening its application process. And I have an opportunity to go to Westerly, Rhode Island, right near Taylor Swift, actually.
Okay.
So, there could be an opportunity to put an application in Westerly soon.
Oh, wow. And so real quick, because I know people are curious, what is it like to procure? Like, how do you have your own people growing for you specifically, like your own custom product? Or do you have growers that you merchandise and say, hey, there's one person and we offer you all these different types of product for you? How does that work?
For right now, the market is best the latter. Everything's grown in Massachusetts because cannabis is still illegal on the federal level.
Yes.
We cannot cross state lines with it.
Yeah.
I cannot contract with a grower, even in Rhode Island, to ship me cannabis in Fall River, Massachusetts. Can't happen.
People don't know that, man.
So everything we have and sell is born, raised right here in Massachusetts.
What's your favorite? Who's your favorite to work with?
It's all of them.
Not a trap question. Not a trap question.
All
but
of them.
like, what do you
good.
prefer? What's your own preference? Like, what do you
believe it or not, I'm not a big cannabis user.
Yeah.
But if I were to use it, probably like, I like a good mellow weed, a good indica.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Chill.
Yeah, nice and
Well, you always
relaxed.
seem like a chill kind of guy to me.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't like to get out of my comfort zone.
Sure.
I'm not going to do. I'm not a Red Bull Energy Sativa guy.
Yeah, right.
I like to keep it steady at
Absolutely.
all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was saying indica. Have I smoked weed? Of course I have. Have I tried edibles? Yes.
You just didn't inhale it.
No, I have.
I'm kidding.
I probably tried all of my products.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
right.
want to know what I have
Of course,
too, right?
of course, of course. Yeah.
But it's not something that I do on a regular or daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's your business. It's what you.
Correct.
Yes, it's what you do.
But with that said, everything's grown and raised in Massachusetts, and we don't grow our own. We contract with the growers in Mass, and some we have our own grow that they just supply directly to us.
Yeah.
Helps keep our prices down.
I was going to say, because you offer probably the lowest prices around, and
We
you offer
try.
people options for anything they want, right?
Yeah, we try. Yeah.
And that matters, because that's a relationship,
It is.
right?
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so.
So what would you say? How many people you say come in and out of your place every day?
On a Friday, Saturday, we're servicing over 2,000 people. Wow. The numbers never drop below 1,000.
Wow.
Even on a slow Monday, slow Tuesday, there's over 1,000 people coming in there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so is that taking up most of your time now? Is that where you focus most of your time is that? I mean, when you're not acting, which is something I really want to talk about, because, I mean, you got a movie coming up that is curling. Like, I'll tell you this right now. My favorite Olympic sport is curling.
Come
I know
on.
most people won't believe that, but 100%.
Oh, you
I
gotta love the movie.
love curling. Can you tell us a little bit about that when we get in there?
So, to answer the last question,
Yes.
the cannabis does take up a lot of your time, but you got to delegate. You got to be able to have managers in there that are running the store, people who you can trust. That sometimes is difficult. Finding people you can trust, finding honest, hardworking people who aren't going to rob from you, who aren't going to take the store as a joke or a place to meet guys or girls. You got to go in and work. You need adults who are interested in working and taking care of their family. So that's sometimes a struggle, is finding a good workforce.
Sure. Do you struggle getting good workers? Is
Yes.
it, yeah? So just real quick, if people are listening and they're interested to get into the industry, what are some of the benefits of working for Cosmo?
You do very well. People who have worked for me have bought their own homes, purchased new cars.
What's the rate? Like, I don't think people know. What's a going rate to be a bud tender?
You're probably starting around $18-20 an hour.
That's pretty good, man.
But not only that, you're making tips.
Oh.
So if you're the average bud tender is probably walking away with $200-300 tips a night.
What?
Yeah.
David, do you know this? Say that again. $200-300 a night in tips for a bud tender.
Wow. Yeah, it's like you're working a nightclub in Vegas.
I don't think people know this.
They don't.
That's insane, by the way.
It's a good living.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Flexible hours.
Well, yeah.
Any bennies?
No bennies.
No bennies.
No. But you can get a medical plan cheap,
Yeah, well, I was just saying, like, on the other side of the bennies, like, is there discounts? Like, if I...
Oh, yeah.
That's the
customer
kind of...
discount.
So if I work there, maybe I get a little discount.
10% off, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I would hope that my employees like me, I try to be a good boss.
You seem like a likable guy, man.
Yeah, I
Seriously.
try.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do.
You have a very kind demeanor about
Yeah,
you.
I don't try to hurt anybody.
Yeah, honest eyes, man. I appreciate that.
thank
Like,
you.
I say it all the time. I'm not very good at many things, but a judge of character I am. So you have amazing energy, and
Right on.
I'm so grateful to be in this space having this conversation
too.
with you, man. Because I've seen you. I follow you.
Thank
I
you.
follow you. I watch your live. You do your live
Those are
posts
fun.
every now and again, and you
Yeah.
kind of, I always appreciate the fact that always a mayor, right? Once a mayor, always a mayor.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you still care enough that you still offer messages to people. You're still reaching out, and I see that people still reach out to you.
True.
And they still look to you as a leader of this city. And I just hope that the next leaders of the city, if it happens to be Coogan, because not to get back into the political conversation, but there is a populace of people that just want more of the same. Like they just, and you know what? To them, and this is no offense to anybody, to them, life is fine. Like they're doing just fine, and everything's working for them. In the words of someone I was talking to, I know what the rules are right now, and I don't want to change anything. So you have to appreciate those people that have built success for themselves. So there's half a dozen, six of the other, right?
Agreed.
So let's talk a little bit about
Curling.
Yeah.
So that's a fun one.
How did you even get there? How does this even happen?
As a child, I loved movies. I loved acting. At 10 years old, if you asked me what I wanted to do in life, I would say, I want the Tonight Show. I want to be like Johnny Carson or, David Letterman.
Yeah.
I wanted to act. Never really had much opportunity as a child doing it, but it's something I always found fascinating. Loved movies, loved TV. I'd rather watch a good movie than read a good book. So as I became older, I get to network with people. I meet people. And I met a man by the name of Tommy DiNucci, who is a director out in Rhode Island, becoming a very famous director out in Rhode Island. And Tommy and I became friends. And we had conversations, discussions, going back and forth. And I always told Tommy, Tom, look, put me in, coach.
How's that?
If you have a movie you think I can do well in, I'm not asking for the lead role. I'll audition. Even if it's background, put me in.
Yeah.
So one day I get the call. And he says, I got something for you. Why don't you come on down? It was a Lifetime movie.
Okay.
No, that was like my first opportunity. And you talk about serendipity. That morning, I had no idea what the movie was about. I had no script, nothing. He said, be on set this time. We got
Doctor with Two
for you.
Faces.
Yeah, Doctor Two Faces.
Yeah.
That morning, I'm watching Clueless with Alicia Silverstone and Stacey Dash.
Yeah.
Great movie. I get dressed. I drive up to Rhode Island where we're shooting. I go into the wardrobe. I come out. Guess who I bump into? Stacey Dash. It's like the fucking universe is
amazing.
talking to me.
Right?
It's
Right?
like, I just saw you on my TV on a movie that, what's the chances of Clueless being on now, right, during the morning, and now I'm about to go do a scene with you?
Brother, like this is affirmation. This is exactly what I'm always talking about, brother.
How
the
wild
universe,
is
it's
that?
amazing. What are the chances of that?
So that was our first movie, and I went to the set telling myself, I'm going to do the best job I can do. I'm going to knock it out of the park. I'm going to be a total professional, on time. Everything they tell me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove to them that they made the right choice by having me here today. And I did it. To the point where whenever Verde Productions or Mr. DiNucci shoot a movie in Rhode Island, they always call me to be a part of it.
That's awesome, man.
So on the Roaring Game,
Yeah.
this one stars Mickey Rourke, has a number of people that you would recognize their names, and it also has Rob Gronkowski in it. You have this young man, he's kind of like, I don't want to say a loser, but he's a little bit of a loser. He's a janitor in a high school, and his girlfriend is an Olympic athlete, and she's about to go to the Olympics. And he's all bummed out because he has a feeling he's going to lose his girlfriend. He's not an Olympian. She's going to be around all these big Olympians, and that's probably the last time he's going to see her again. So now he concocts this scheme that he's going to get his buddies together, and they're going to form a curling team, almost like dodgeball. It's kind of like, it reminded me a lot of dodgeball.
Yeah. I
right?
love that. I love that comedy.
100%. So, but now they need an entrance fee to get in to the qualifying game. So they go see the local mafia, and Mickey Rourke's the head of the local mob. Mickey Rourke gives him the money. Here you go, son. You got to now go enter the game. And they take off. They become the darlings of America. Everybody's falling in love with the USA curling team.
Like the bobsled team, right?
Of
the
course.
Jamaican bobsled team.
Kind of like that, too.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
these,
yeah.
all these 90 movies we loved as a kid all coming together, right?
Yeah.
However, Mickey Rourke being Mickey Rourke says, you know something? You're going to be going against the Russians in the final. You're going to lose the game. You're going to throw the game, and you're going to make me rich. And if you don't, you're dead.
You're dead.
So what does he do, right? So that's a comedy. That actually is coming out. The Olympics are next year. I'm being told that Peacock is probably going to buy it. I do have a pretty couple of good scenes in there.
Yeah.
I play on the German
I
curling
was
team.
going to say, what's the character? Can you tell us about the character?
Yeah, I play on the German curling
But
team.
people don't know what curling is. Curling is the Olympic sport where what they call a stone.
Yes.
And it's an ice path, and one person launches the stone, and two other people actually they scrub the ice to create thermal layer that it will either travel faster or slower. It's amazing.
It's a fun game.
It's amazing. I love it. I have my favorite Olympic sport. Yes.
Yeah. So Peacock is supposed to buy it, and they will be releasing it during the Olympics on Peacock next year. So that movie should get a lot of notoriety.
Yeah.
Another one I just did. Again, talk about just being at the right time, right place. One of my favorite shows is The Sopranos. I can tell you every episode of Sopranos, every line. I love The Sopranos.
All right, so before you take another step, what happened with the Russian? What's your opinion with the Russian?
He lived.
You think so?
Yes. David Chase said he lived.
So was that forever? What did he ever come back to the show? Was that the end of the Russian? Did we never see the Russian ever again? That was it?
We never see him ever again. However, there was supposed to be a scene where Christopher walks in to a place and the Russian's there, and you can tell he's not the same guy because he's got the hole in his head. He's disabled now.
Yeah.
And he looks at Christopher. Christopher looks at him. They can tell they have a relation together, but they don't know how they have a relation together. So the Russian did not die in the woods in Pine Barrens. He lived, right?
All right.
And they should have went to get something to eat before they went to Pine Barrens, right? Would you agree?
Agreed.
Okay.
The mustard with the packets and
mayonnaise, right?
Hilarious.
So,
yes. And then one more thing. Just I don't want to get too far from it because I appreciate your opinion. How do you think Tony got taken out? What do you think happened?
He died.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the end.
The end.
So what were we seeing? His perception? Was it his perception when it all goes black?
Both. It went black on us as the audience, and it went black on him because he died.
And who do you think did it?
The members only jacket.
The members only jacket.
Yeah.
And that was from like episode one.
Yeah, of that season.
That was the name of the episode. Members only jacket.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. I digress. Go ahead. Sorry.
Big Sopranos fan.
Yeah.
And I'm getting word that they're going to be shooting a kind of mafia movie in Rhode Island starring Chaz Palminteri. All the cast of The Sopranos is going to be there. All the living members, anyway. Sylvester Stallone's daughter's going to be there. Robert Dave's son, Robert Dave from the Goonies is going to be there. Yeah. I said, I gotta be part of this movie.
Yeah.
This I was born to be in this movie.
Yeah.
So I called Tommy. Tommy, am I in? He said, do you think I will leave you out of this?
Oh, dude, that's awesome, bro.
He said, of course you're in.
That's awesome.
He said, wait till you see the role I give you. So I was able to act with Chaz Palminteri, and Robert Dave.
Good for you, bro. Good for you.
Had a few scenes, but it was still just an honor to be a part of that. And to say, okay, you were Furio Junter in The Sopranos. You were Big Pussy.
Yeah.
And now to be friends with some of these guys where we talk on a regular basis.
Can you tell us about your character in that?
Yeah. I play a lower level mob guy, hanging out at the mob clubs.
You maid or not maid?
Maid guy.
Okay, then that's not so low level. That's not so low level.
And to tell you about this movie, it's a fun one. I really have a feeling that this movie will become one of those classic movies. A lot of Bronx Tale-esque style to it.
Okay, one of my faves.
Yeah, these two young men, they're growing up, I believe it's in the 50s, and they're football players for high school. One of them comes from a good family, strong family. The other one, not so much, a broken home. And the young man who comes from the good family, he has a chance to go on to college on a football scholarship. The other one, once high school ends for him, his life's pretty much over. So it's the big game. All the scouts are there. They're in the huddle, and the one who comes from the broken family says, you know something? Can you hand the ball to me? If I can get this touchdown, I think my life's going to change, and I can go on to college with you, and we can actually make something of ourselves. We can actually leave this one-horse town. The kid, against the plan, against better judgment, his emotions kick in. I'm gonna hand it to you. Here we go. Handoff. Fumble. Opposing team picks up the ball, runs it back for a touchdown. They lose the game. They lose the championship game. Offers are withdrawn. Nobody's going to college now. Wow. So now they spend the summer at the local social club learning how to become young gangsters, right? They're running rackets. They're working for Bob Badavi. John Fiore's in this with me from The Sopranos. They're working for Chaz Palminteri. They're becoming up-and-coming gangsters.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a love story, too, because the good kid is in a relationship with Sylvester Stallone's daughter. She was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So now it all culminates on the last night of the movie. They're about to do this big score. However, the college kid, he may have a change of heart. If he doesn't do the big score and he goes on the date with his girlfriend, maybe his life's changed forever. But if he does the big score, maybe they become big mob guys, or they may die.
Life is choices, brother.
Life is choices. So the name of that movie is Bad News on the Doorstep. Yeah.
And when's that available?
Probably going to be coming out next fall. We wrapped it. It's been wrapped. It's in production. Now it'll come out next fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about a newspaper for a second. Sometimes there's a nice headline on the newspaper, and on that same newspaper, sometimes there's tragedy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Can you just walk us through that a little bit? What's it like to get on set, right, and to see all this happening around you?
It's fun.
Is it chaos?
No, anything but chaos.
Yeah.
It's so well organized, so well scripted.
Yeah.
You know where you are. Everything's timed right. It's like a Broadway play. There's nothing chaotic about it. Very long days, though. Being on a movie set's a 12-hour day. If you get there at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not leaving till 12 o'clock at night. And a lot of the times you're sitting in your trailer waiting for you to go on set because your scene may only take 3 minutes, but it takes an hour to set up an entire scene because you got to shoot it from different angles, and sometimes you do different takes. You got to break it down. You got to move on. So being on set are long days, so there's a lot of camaraderie there. You find a group of people, you talk, you have fun, you laugh, and it makes the day go by. But it is a long day. Is
it a career that you would pursue, like to say, hey, I want to be a full-time actor?
Yeah, in a different lifetime, I would definitely have loved to have done it. Yeah, I think I would have been good at it too.
I think you are good at it.
Yeah,
I think you are good at it.
Thank you.
And so, like, walking us out of here, right? Because I know I've had you for a minute, and I just don't want to keep you too long, because I know you're a busy guy. What does the future look like for you, Will? Like, and I only ask the question in this sense. And I always like to put a little boundaries because I don't want to leave it too open-ended. Politically, are you thinking local politics? Are you thinking maybe federal politics? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I would not shut the door on another political run.
All right.
I don't know where, when, but I did enjoy my time in public service. I enjoyed it. I enjoy helping people. You know, there was even a time where I thought I was going to be a priest in high school. I enjoy helping people. There's something about it where, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice myself just so your life can be better. Not everybody's built like that.
Yeah. So you're saying like so you would that into your religion, or you were ready to commit your life to? No kidding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's a big decision, man. Yeah. That's a big decision. Yeah. Wow.
I did.
Does that come from the people around you, Will? Does that come from the people around
I think
you?
My mom, my dad, just being spiritual, being raised
big part of your life
in a Catholic family.
Yeah.
But God's a big part of my life, 100%. So I would not close the door on running for political office. Now, one thing that I did do recently is I changed my party affiliation.
Okay, I was going to bring that up.
I was a lifelong Democrat, and I felt the party left me. And I became a Republican. I'm still a Republican. I don't see myself changing back anytime soon.
And I think that's about alignment, right? It's really about alignment. People will question that and be like, well, it's not about a commitment to something you don't believe in, right? We all align ourselves with what we think is best for ourselves and the people we care about most. And if it is that Republican line, then so be it. But I just wanted to say something today because I had a conversation with somebody, and I think it's important to mention this. More recently, obviously, we've had some catastrophic events take place, some earth-moving events take place, right? Yeah. And I hear people constantly saying, it's the left, it's the left. And I just want to stop people for a second and say, look, it's very easy to label people with a very generic name, okay? Sure. The right and the left. These represent common thoughts, right? Like, because I'm on the right or because you're on the left doesn't mean we both don't want great things for each other, right? So I believe that there's a balanced left and there's a balanced right, and then
100%.
there's an extremism on either end. And I think that the people that we're calling the left are the extremists and not the left. So I just want to say this, and I think it's important to say it. The people on the left are getting a bad rap because I think we all want great things for each other. And whether you're the left or the right, it doesn't mean you're a domestic terrorist. You know what I mean? And I think, when these things are happening, these are domestic terrorist events. And to label either political affiliation with that, I think is incorrect. Would you feel the same way?
100% with you. And let's look at some of these tragedies that have happened. That beautiful young lady on the train or bus who was decapitated by this man. He's the devil.
Yeah.
He's the devil.
Evil. It's evil.
Evil man.
Yeah, it's evil. Yeah, it's evil.
Why is he out in society? Why hasn't somebody did something to him? He was in court multiple times. Why wasn't the red flags waved to say, look, this man needs to be, buried under the jailhouse. You can't let this guy in society.
Right.
He's Freddy Krueger. He's Jason Voorhees. He's
Right.
Michael Myers. You can't let this guy out.
Right.
But yet somebody let him out.
Well, somebody let him out. Not only that, they also started a GoFundMe for this guy. So, again, you know what? Obviously, this individual, and I'll say this, and I've mentioned it before, and I don't like to talk too much about this on the show because it's really not what the show is about.
Yeah.
But it's important to mention this. Obviously, this individual was sick. There's
Yes.
a mental breakdown in this individual, right?
Evil.
We agree.
Sick
evil,
evil.
sick evil, right? What bothered me most, Will, was all those people sitting there, and not one single person got up to help this young lady. Like my son is 24. My daughter is 29. So that could have been my daughter, Will.
Yeah.
And not one single person that was on that train, they watched what happened, and she crawls over in her chair, raises her right hand looking for help, and not one single person got up to give her a hand. To me, that is where the tragedy really happened.
Not everybody's Bobby Kudo, not everybody's Will Flanagan, but those people could have been scared. They didn't want to get involved. I think about the police officer at a school shooting that didn't enter the school building because he became scared. Not everybody has the adrenaline or the knowledge or the guts or the testicular fortitude to say, I'm going to put my life on the line to save somebody else's, right? So for those people on that train, it was easy for them to turn a blind eye because they didn't want to get hurt or involved. They were afraid themselves, maybe. I don't know, but I would have got involved.
Yeah, I think so. Well, back to our original, we started this episode,
Yeah.
Will, and that is, do you know your neighbor?
Right.
Because if you know your neighbor's going to come save you.
Yes.
Your neighbor's going to help you. You said it. When's the last time you watched your neighbor carry groceries in the house?
Right.
No, you haven't, because if you did, you would have helped him carry the groceries in.
Think about this for a moment, too. You know your neighbor. Hey, Will's car hasn't moved in a couple of days. Or I haven't seen Will come outside of his house.
100%.
Or Will's mail's piling up on his front door.
Right.
I think there's something wrong with Will. I'm going to go check on him, right?
Absolutely.
That doesn't happen enough.
Right.
It
And
doesn't.
And you know what? And you grew up in the 80s, 1975.
Yeah.
It was all about the neighbors.
Of
like
course.
every one of my friends, one of my best friend, I've known him for 48 years. These are people that I grew up with in my neighborhood. They were my neighborhood friends, and I'm still connected to these people. And I don't know what my life would be like if I didn't have these people in my life, right? And so, I just encourage people to, step outside of your house, say hello to your neighbors. Don't be creepy about it, but go over, say hi to your neighbors, and look, know who's living in your neighborhoods, right?
100%.
Right, absolutely. Because look, we're a community, and it starts with your neighbor. It starts with us. It starts with us communicating and talking. And you've made such wonderful points today, Will. I think you're right. Communicating is the most important thing we can do. Is realizing that. Just because this happens doesn't mean that I had ill intentions, right? Like you automatically assume that I want to hurt you, and that's not the case. Sometimes decisions have to be made, and it's for the greater good, right? But don't take it personal, right? And I think people do that, and then they get on Facebook, and then everybody's on with their thumbs, like they got these monster thumbs, and the next thing you know, we're fighting. You know what I mean?
It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. Will Flanagan, such a pleasure to have you here, sir. I am so excited to get you in the studio again.
This was great.
I want to know where you're going, bro. I want to see the movies. I want to watch the movies, and I'm hoping that maybe I got a couple of things coming up, and I'm hoping. I know you work a lot with Michael Silvia, and I never want to interfere with that, but I would love to do some work with you. I'd love for us to get together and do some things, and you just have some amazing energy, and I think. I think you have as much passion for the city as I do. Maybe even
Agreed.
maybe even a little bit more because you were the mayor. And I would love to share that with my audience. And I would love to be doing some things together.
Mi casa, su
Yeah?
casa.
I love that. Mi
Yeah.
casa, su casa too,
Yeah.
brother. Will Flanagan, I hope I can call you
Love
friend.
you. Yes.
I appreciate you, brother.
Got
Is
a
there
friend.
anything you'd like to mention to the audience? Any charities, anything going on that you want to share with anybody?
I just want to say thank you. You know, it's an honor to be here. You got a beautiful studio.
Thank you, brother.
Downtown Fall River. We need more people like you, Bobby, more people like you to come and say, look, I'm going to invest in Fall River. This isn't easy what you did here. This took time, this took effort, this took money for you to do what you're doing here. We need more Bobby Kudos in Fall River, so God bless you, and it's an honor to be here with your guests and your viewing audience, and I will come back anytime you ask me.
I so much appreciate that. And just one more time for the audience, Cosmopolitan is, what's the address?
82 Hartwell Street.
82 Hartwell Street. When's the best days to go? Best days, best times. Somebody doesn't want to wait in line.
Anytime you're available, we're there for you.
Love that.
Yep.
Perfect answer. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Please go over, support Will, support Cosmo. It's a great, amazing place. I'm going to go check it out.
All right.
I'm going to go check it out myself, and then I'll come back and report to everybody.
God bless.
Thank you so much for being here, brother. I appreciate you. David, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, we appreciate you. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Listen, a review would be great. Apple, like all of the metrics work on the reviews and the interaction of the audience. So it's so very important for you to be involved. If you guys appreciate and enjoy the content that we're delivering, none of this is easy. So it takes a lot of effort. Anything from you is always greatly appreciated. I appreciate you. I appreciate our city. I appreciate everyone like you, Will, who's thrown their hat in the ring to make this a better place. Remember, everybody, always remember that all roads lead here.